everybody, and welcome to my next live essay reading. And this session is a chat about leaders, from learners to leaders. And my name is Vita. I'm here in Montserrat. I'm in my front yard. I work in ocean climate and culture, building community and building community capacity for ocean science. And I also have just spent my day preparing our Airbnb clubhouse slash beach house for the season. So if you look on YouTube, you will see the clubhouse, which is the Fish and Fins clubhouse, which is available for people to support our program and to actually stay by the beach and have a great time. So please do check it out. And I realize for many people, it's not easy to speak to someone that you have never spoken to before. And the wonderful thing about the internet is that we have the chance to really connect and share knowledge. Having worked in ocean science for over 10 years, being a single mom, I really understand that, it's challenging for many of us. There is a quiet struggle. And I have only been able to even get this far in working as a solopreneur, oceanpreneur, whatever you want to call it, in this space because of shared knowledge. And I've been blessed at times to have access to people that didn't really focus on gatekeeping at all. So I am paying that forward, and I'm asking you to ask me anything in this session. We're going to talk about how we can how we can transform our work, our workshops, our partners, from learners to leaders. And what was interesting for me this week was thinking about the whole idea of journaling in public, which is this like creative session I held online for the month of October. I'm now sort of thinking about how this live essay session that I do with you guys here is all about learning in public as well, right? So we're sharing information, we're doing it online, and in many ways, one of the easiest ways to even practice and to push yourself or put yourself out there and tell your story and all these various things, it's all a learning process. Like I am still learning how to come online regularly and do these types of talks. It's a learning process for me. So I really appreciate your patience and I appreciate you showing up. And if you're not able to show up for the live, then I'm really appreciating you subscribing to my channel, to subscribe to my newsletter and all of that good stuff. So I just have a friend going up the road right now. And I am outside, as I said, in the front yard. So so without further ado, let's go into it. So this essay that I'm going to read and reflect on was posted on LinkedIn, and it was popular amongst early career ocean professionals, what we call ECOP. And, the title of it was Empowering Early Career Ocean Professionals and Enhancing Training Programs for Real World Impact. And I personally believe that when we're doing science and conservation, we really need to do a lot more by putting people first, working within community, and really trying to establish programming and capacity that is long term. So I've sort of summarized this by the caption, from learners to leaders. And so I start by saying, as an early career ocean professional, you must equip yourself with practical knowledge that empowers you to make a difference. Here are some tips to enhance your training programs and cater to all learning styles. Right? So there is academic learning that we go through. But at the same time, I think sometimes some folks struggle to make that transition from what we hear in academics and textbooks to actually put it into practice. And especially in small island communities, small island states and communities where there is so much nuance, and there's a real need for holistic ocean management. and for holistic approach to really working together in a way that is sustainable, and that benefits as many people as possible. I like to speak about spreading the wealth, and I think this is what it boils down to. So, um, I have like about 6 points here, and I'm gonna just say them out to you and then reflect upon them. Maybe sort of share a little bit about how I've seen this work in real life, or ways I have put it into practice myself. And so the first one is embrace hands on learning, incorporate a training program that emphasizes hands on learning. This approach allows you and your cohort to develop essential practical skills for marine biodiversity monitoring and ocean exploration. Get ready to roll your sleeves up and make a splash in the field and within your local communities. So, yeah, I think in many ways we do consider field work, we do consider practical work, but I'm challenging us all to think more about how we can be even more creative with that. And one of the ways that I can remember I did this in 2019, just before the pandemic, was having this school to the seas. And what I did was work with school teachers in the primary schools to get them aware of all of the latest resources for teaching ocean literacy in the primary schools, and understanding more about our ocean backyard, understanding more about how that could be incorporated within the curriculums and programming. And I had a small budget to do this, and a small window of time. I think it was about 6 weeks. And what I did was I not only got them into the clubhouse for, um, sit down, look at this projection, see some of these activities, but I also took the teachers into the sea, like into the sea right in front of the clubhouse, where those who could not swim already were able to learn to swim and to learn some sea safety skills, to be able to put on a snorkel and be able to immerse themselves in the environment. And then they were able to connect the dots between what I was saying are some of the global challenges to our local challenges, and then also recognizing what other resources that could be useful for them in the classroom. But that was a very practical way of ensuring that the training and session that I led and the workshop that I led was immersive, and that was providing hands-on learning. And that's what I'm sort of challenging us all to do, as well, is to really think outside the box in terms of creativity and get people involved in space, feel that it's not just a training session, but it is also a adventure. Okay. So the second one is, and it's saying that my internet is unstable and I don't know why. So I'm hoping you can hear this okay. But the second one is connecting with real people in the field. So going beyond theory and immerse your cohort in, and that's like, by cohort, I just mean the people who are in your training session. Maybe it's young people, maybe it's fishing communities, maybe it's teachers, maybe it is professional technocrats in policy, or whoever. Maybe it's artists. So go beyond the theory and immerse your cohort in real world challenges marine scientists and local technical officers face. So learn how to tackle these challenges by connecting with people on the front line in an apprentice style training approach. And so I really like those types of and I feel that they work well, those types of training approaches that should I just say right here, I really get bored of the conference room style workshops. Like, as much as I'm zoomed out, I'm bored of the conference room workshops. And I think that in connecting, we should take people out more, take people out to the environment. And especially because we live in these like beautiful, beautiful environments, especially in the tropics, um, in the Caribbean, why not get really up close to the solutions that we're trying to design and with the people who we're trying to design those solutions with. So I think, for example, if we had youth, or if we had artists, or if we had technocrats from across sectors or international groups of NGOs on a workshop, for example, then I mean, sometimes you have to actually use virtual meetings, etc. And for that reason, it makes it a little bit hard, but it's not impossible because you can actually bring in your guests and do sort of maybe more case study type discussions, or you can also do maybe even role play with maybe local fishers, maybe local farmers, technocrats, and let them share either made up scenarios or even their real life scenarios and work back from that. Or for example, here on Montserrat, for example, we are working with an um, aquaculture project where they're uh, farming tilapia and shrimp, jumbo shrimp. And that's not sort of immersing experience where we can really connect with. There's nothing wrong with calling up a government and saying, "I'm running this training exercise as an early career professional in space. I want to make it really as close to life possible. I really want to work on practical skills and practical um, approaches to these discussions that we're having in the workshop. And could we spend some time with in the field with the staff, right? And it could be the people who are in charge for with regards to the husbandry of the space, or maintenance of the space. And sometimes you really need to spend some time looking at the environmental impacts of the work we're doing, or maybe we're looking at the social impacts. And the best way to do that is to get really up close with the people and not separating ourselves, get our hands dirty where necessary. And so that's the sort of thing that I was thinking about right there in that section. And I'm hoping that this is useful for you as well. So please do leave your comments and tell me, what's working for you in your own experiences as well when you're talking about really enhancing training programs for real world impacts. And remember that I'm available even outside these sessions. If you have questions, feel free to just hit me up. You can just send me an email, ask me a question. I have a special offer right now on my website, vitawade.com, where you could just basically email me 4 questions. Your first one's free. It's only like $100. And I will give you back a thoughtful responses. And you don't even need to send those 4 questions in a particular time span. I'm available to you to talk through in thought partnership if that's what you need, or to look at a particular project design, or to even give you ideas if you need to bounce something off of someone. Then I'm here for that as well. And it could happen between now. It could happen between now and this time next year. There is no rush. I'm all about just taking our time, slowing this thing down, and being more sustainable within ourselves and in the projects that we are doing as well. So the next point I had here was around learning from your local ecological experts. So tap into the wisdom of local ecological experts with years of hands-on experience in marine biology, marine biodiversity monitoring, and ocean exploration. These experts will guide you through local nuances, sharing their expertise and practical knowledge. And please ensure that your budget is designed to compensate local knowledge holders at a market rate for their expertise. And I believe that if you're going to pay X amount for services in the US or the UK or Timbuktu, it should still be the same X amount equivalent in the local community as well. I'm really sort of tired and frustrated with people assuming that small island states are cheaper to work with and that you can get cheap labor, because the living on a small island that is dependent on importation with a high cost of living It's not a cheap place to live. Like our rents are expensive, our importation costs are expensive. The other day, I drowned two GoPros, not intentionally, but because of the seal were being damaged by the heat on the island. We're just at a different temperature. Um, and the seal broke without you even knowing, and it flooded one, took another one in, and the same situation happened. That's $600 worth of technology. And if you import them in, sometimes you can pay up to 30%, unless you have special exemptions as well. So, there's so many reasons why it's so much more, it's expensive to do work here. So when we are working with our local experts, I would just say make it a practice and a habit to double or increase your HR line in your budget when you're writing your grants, and especially if you're at a position of leadership in an organization. I always would encourage and challenge you even to make that HR line bigger, so that you can really help to spread the wealth, level things up for local community, local ecological experts, and so that we ensure that these individuals knowledge is being valued, and their time also. And the next point is around fostering collaboration and networking. So foster a collaborative environment within the training program that encourages collaboration among participants from diverse backgrounds. Working together allows us to develop innovative solutions for underrepresented communities or scale projects across regions, learn from each other's experiences, engage ideas, and build a strong network of like-minded individuals passionate about protecting our oceans. And no one's excluded from this conversation. Like, I think sometimes, you know, um, the same sort of people who are interested in the environment, who are interested in conservation, or who are already on our stakeholder list, get invited time and time again. And sometimes we overlook the most important people that are right in front of us. And I think some of those people are even politicians. And it was just last year that I made a point of, I had like a very silly amount of money, like a small pocket change, in a budget. And, we could have done some outreach with young people, children. It's cute, but it wasn't productive. It wasn't progressive, and it wasn't really going to push the needle forward. I made a decision in collaboration with my team to invite politicians. So we invited like 31 politicians just before a political campaign, during a political campaigning season, to come to the clubhouse to talk about turtle conservation and turtle science and the legislation and things like this. And it was a really useful exercise. So I think that when I talk about diverse groups of people, um, you know, let's look far and wide, and let's think about those people who sometimes are right in front of us, that we know have a part to play in the solution that we want to create or what we're trying to teach, and also who may need to be aware of some of this knowledge, but don't always have space and time and a environment that is welcoming for them. And sometimes we assume that they already know things. And I think it's important to bring everybody to the table, and don't necessarily overlook people as well. So yeah, the next point is accessing cutting edge technology. And I'd say stay up to date with the latest immersive technology and tools used in marine biodiversity monitoring and ocean exploration. Training programs that provide access to these resources give you a cutting edge in the field. And I think that for us in small islands, for example, and in local communities, wherever you are in the world, especially when you're community centered, that we have to always be looking for what's portable, what's affordable, and what is going to cause the least harm, um, like the least invasive technologies. And I think it's really important to just keep scanning around at what is being developed, and sometimes looking for those innovators and leaders in the space Perhaps some of the places that we can look at is some of these blue economy startups and innovation labs. And being a part of this, maybe we may need to volunteer some time as early career, ocean um, professionals in this space, because they may need some advice, some time. You want to stay connected to the technology as it develops, and it could be that as you stay connected from its inception, as it grows into its next phase, this may be a piece of technology, piece of software that could be tested in a local community, maybe tested within a training project and things like this. So I think it's just all about to continuing to build relationships with people, um, and really looking really wide in regards to those technologies and those partnerships that you want to build in, because you just never know where it's going to lead. For example, I started working with this Macanoo camera with the Ocean Discovery League from a conversation we had about looking at capacity within small and developing states and what the island's capacity was. Did a survey, continued to stay connected with folks, and then when it came to testing time, we were we were one of just, I think it was 19 people around the world who were able to test this technology. And it's a big deal. Like, only less than 1% of the deep sea is known. So to be able to test technology that is affordable, less than $1,000 or $1,000 on average, to be able to see and shine a light to the deep for people who are not scientists is a really big deal. And that work is now progressing to its next phase. But that only happened by really having a conscious mindset of wanting to stay connected to all the innovations that were happening, the innovators, the leaders in this space as well, the visionaries in this space, really staying connected to those people as well. And the final point here, I think, is offering ongoing support and mentorship. So please ensure ongoing support and mentorship for your cohort, for your trainees, your apprentices, helping them further develop their skills and navigating their careers in this exciting field. I think there's no better time, more excited time to be in the marine science and exploration space than now. And so, you know, definitely stay connected to people even after the workshop is done, the training sessions are done, and just set up a safe space for folks to seek advice, share experiences, and build a resilient community. Because we're going to come up to mind blocks and roadblocks, and we want to make sure that when your cohort come out of those spaces, that you're still providing an environment where they can still bounce ideas off of each other, off you if necessary, and you're really beginning to understand what does it take to ensure that the capacity development work that we have just done, for example, is going to stand the test of time, right? And yeah, so I think it's time for us to think more holistically and being more supportive, thinking more long lasting, ensuring that sustainability is not just for like this word that we use, but we're really planning it into our programming and thinking about what happens after the money dries up, what happens after this is no longer sexy, how do we make this community better off, right? And so these are the things that are on my mind, and I just want to say that I'm also available. I put it on this link as well, that I'm also available for one-to-one collaboration and to support your next sort of hands-on training event, whenever that is. And I am here in Montserrat in my front yard, and I am available remotely if necessary. So I just want to continue to say and to share my mantra for this month is just put yourself out there. Document your stories, share your stories, encourage people to do the same, especially those unseen, heroes in communities, in small island communities. So share those stories and just share lots of them. So until next time, again, my name is Vita Wade, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.